My garden is really an attempt of mine to try and recreate experiences I had running wild as a child in the woods of Kent, the Kentish woods, called the Garden of England. And I wasn't aware that I was doing that until I designed winding paths and little secret places and little secret spots where different kinds of things could happen. The actual dimensions of this garden are something like 50 feet by 50 feet. When we bought the house, it was just a barren patch of grass, and it's taken 20 years for the garden to get to where it is now. This bed, which is on the patio, is actually covering the roots of a Sitka willow tree, which was a volunteer from down by the lake, and I allowed it to grow and then pruned it, and it's just turned into this beautiful canopy for the patio. This bed, I have a few native plants here which I have to look after very carefully. The ferns, and there's a trillium and a few other things mixed with hostas and then miniature roses, and this is a plant, tree of heaven, which was grown from a seed, which I bring out in the summer. So it's a little island of creeping Jenny, Hoikera. I like to see the shadows and the moss on the patio stones. I like the little details, framing little details. I really enjoy the little patches and frames of whatever it is that the plants are trying to do. Wisteria has been cut down to paint the house, but it's also grown back then. It's very freestyle kind of wisteria. So I'm going up steps now, out of the shady patio. I have the hazelnut shells here. This is supposedly the vegetable garden, which really we only grow cucumbers and herbs and parsley, and then we just built this container bed, which is going to be for tomatoes. Have to keep the daisies, the marguerites, under control. They would really take over, but they're so beautiful, and it's a temptation to just let them take over for a bit. You have some old-fashioned roses, European roses. Violets and coral bells grow wild. They've spread and they grow between the stones. bracken, also native. We built a pond where there was once a dip that was for playground equipment for children. It was just 50 square feet of dried out lawn, actually, before we came. Native ferns like it here. We have to keep them under control. Bishop's weed, which also would like to go wild. But it has a beautiful flower. We give the buttercups a chance to have a display. Then we have to dig them up and make sure they don't take over. In fact, there are quite a few plants that would really like to take over, which is pretty much like what happens in a real wood or forest. Wild forget-me-nots, not the perennial forget-me-nots, but annuals that sow and spread. There are little secret places in this 50 square feet of garden. Bamboo bench. There's a sculpture of a green goddess, which I will get closer to. The meandering paths are really what I like, and they really remind me of being a child in a Kentish wood. Welsh poppies, they love it here and have seeded all by themselves from one plant. We have a bamboo allée. At least I call it a bamboo allée. There it is. Children love it here. Just a 2-foot path. They hide. Here's the little secret place. Use coconut mulch, which smells marvelous in the summer. Here's the green goddess, at least her face. She needs to be, got some pruning to do here. The crucifera, they have to be moved. They need more sun. This is a dead mock orange, and I use it as a kind of trellis for clematis. Same here. Iris, which I'm always splitting apart and giving away. Wild foxgloves are allowed, as long as they're off the path and deep inside. We're always having to cut the fresh bamboo, even though we've got the containers trying, but still is not going to stay inside the container. So there's another secret place. This kind of garden is not to most people's taste. They'd like to have more control. I control the garden, but I like to have that sense of wildness, of surprises happening. This is a kiwi. Solomon seal. I can go one of two ways now. The paths divide, so when you're walking around the garden, you get a feeling that it's much larger than it actually is. Dahlias are coming up there, that the sticks are there for them. The peak of spring is really past. This bed was full of daffodils and tulips. Honeysuckle. Kind of espaliered Virginia, which you can do lots of things with. Give it many, many shapes. The columbine seem to be naturalized, and you can see them growing in lots of people's gardens. I didn't plant these. Neither did I plant these yellow flags. They come from the lake. They came up from the lake, along with the bracken and the ferns. I have lots of birds nesting in the garden. They like the water. They have everything that they need. They're safe.